How's it going, YouTube? Coming to another video, and today, guys, what the bring to you is going to be the new tier list for the brand new format post the ban list, and there's going to be some pretty big changes from last time, and we'll talk about quite a few of them as we go through this today. I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let me know how you feel about the ban list and how you feel about the tier list, because there's definitely going to be some movement. So we're going to start off with DDD. Again, this has always been a pretty hardy tier 2 strategy. It's very strong. If you know what you're doing, you can do very well. The deck itself is still pretty frightening to play against, especially if you lose roll and you don't open optimal outs. So it's going to be a deck that at tier 2, it can still be a pretty good threat into a tournament. This is a deck that if you want to play it, you're going to have to put ample time into learning it. Now, the one that I feel like has a lot more nuanced play and a lot more technical play added onto it is going to be Mitsurugi. Whatever kind of Mitsurugi variant, for the most part, is going to be tier 1.5. I really do enjoy the strategy of like pure Mitsurugi. I think that it's really strong right now, being able to play Fedralis and Spark and Impulse. So definitely going to be a very good option into the new format. Is it going to be the top of the best of the craziest things that you can play? Not necessarily. Is it going to be really good, though? Yeah, I do feel like that's true. Same with Elf Note Fiendsmith, or just Elf Note in general. I think that this deck is going to be pretty nice into the format. Some pretty formidable end boards that it can make. Being able to have the trap card up as well is a pretty good advantage for this deck. I do see this deck having an issue if Crown is a very popular card, because again, if you don't open Welcome Home and you're going second into a deck and you summon it into the middle and they crown you, it's going to be a rough day. So that's something that you want to keep in mind, but this deck is still going to be really good into the new format. Now, one thing that you may not be thinking about is going to be Elf Note Centurion. I think that this is going to be top of tier 2, bottom of 1.5, very, very strong. Plays good into Droll effects, Shifter effects, Charmies. It doesn't care too much about Nibiru. There's a lot of things that you can do in this deck to be successful. And with the new Elf Note cards, if you play like the Librarian, when you're playing, you draw like 6 cards. So this deck is going to be extremely strong. Playing the Fedralis as well, which is always really cool. You're not necessarily able to play Spark unless you forego a couple things, but this deck does play really well into the worst possible scenarios in the format. Now, as an engine and as a deck, Radiant Typhoon just got absolutely pounded for no reason. I don't really feel like this deck deserved a hit. I honestly thought this would be the one that just skated by unhit. It's kind of crazy to me that this is just like what got hit almost the hardest on this ban list. But yeah, it just kind of nuked it down to rogue tier. So definitely very interesting to see. VS K9 still gonna be 1.5. I think this deck struggles a little bit more into the Doom Z deck because a lot of their cards want to be popped. The deck itself is still going to do very good. It's still going to be a very solid option. It'll be up here or just above Mitsurugi. But I do think that it is a step down into the decks that we consider like the better decks into the new format. Yummy, it's like a tier 2 deck now. It's like tier 2. 1 Cup C, the deck's still playable. It has a really bad matchup into Cool Tune, and Konami made sure that it happened by limiting Cup C Way. So definitely very interesting, but definitely not going to be in the tier 1 or 1.5 anymore. Same with the Malice deck. I would say that it's going to be like bottom 1.5, like top tier 2. It's still a deck that's in the format, but they did lose another name, which is a little awkward, but the deck still plays. They still are able to play Impulse and Spark and Shifter and Deify, and it's still going to be a deck into the format that will see play and it will top. So Malice is not going to really go anywhere. It's still around. I feel like our format is going to rely mostly on what's up here, because of the fact that our format is going to be very wide. We're going to see quite a lot. Next one up here is going to be Enneacraft. This is going to be tier 2, just a really cringe stun deck that is nothing more than that. Lunalight is going to be up here in 1.5. Liger didn't get hit, which is extremely surprising. So this is definitely going to be a deck that you still have to respect. And Heavy Poly is still a crazy card. Fairy Tail, this is going to be a strong tier 2. Definitely a very interesting deck, and now there's snow, so definitely going to be something that you want to keep your eyes out for. I didn't include tier on this. I just really don't feel like it's the format for tier at all. And it could do well, and we do have snow, but snow is going to be seen more in like Cool Tune because of things like Shooting Riser and whatnot more than anything else. But we could see the Fairy Tale deck pop up a little bit. The level 4 fusion is actually extremely strong. For what it is, I read it and I was like, oh, this card's kind of crazy, right? So definitely something that you want to keep in mind as well. Pure branded / like branded synchro. This is also going to fall in like 1.5. Very good. I would pair these together. I feel like Draco Tail, a lot of people are like, oh, the deck doesn't function properly now because there's not enough spells to set, and we have Rahu at 1, we have like 1 Malulu and 2 Lucius, but like, we have the Magistus cards, you can combine these decks, you can also start playing like the Synchro engine for branded, and then like use Rahu like after, right? So like, I don't know, I feel like these decks are still going to be in the format. And I feel like there's a lot more playable decks and like viable decks in this format than not, which is kind of scary going into the YCS because you just can't prepare for everything, right? There's going to be some scenarios that you're just like not being able to prepare enough for. There's still going to be decks at the very top that you want to make sure that you are ready for regardless. And we'll talk about those as we get to them. Tier 2 as well going to be Fire King and Orcust. I feel like Orcust has definitely fallen off the most. And it could even be seen as rogue just because of the fact that this deck is another deck that really relies on not getting Deified, D-Ground, Shifted, and it's going to be something that is really problematic. I do really like Fire King though, just because this is a deck that is going to have a really good time into most decks in the format, just not Doomsday. So that is going to be something that is going to be problematic. And I do talk about this deck a lot right now, but I called it fake the first time around, and seeing how it is now, I feel like after talking with my friend, the Power Patron cards are better than the Doom Z cards, but the Doom Z cards are very good, and you do play both of them in the same deck. But one thing that I will say is the Power Patron Pendulum Pile FTK with Gustav, that deck, very scary. It is very, very scary. These cards read insane. I don't know if you've actually stepped back and just read the Power Patron Pendulum cards. They're really good. And Shade is crazy. So that is going to be a deck that you will see. And, whether it's like the Power Patron Elf Note or the Power Patron Doomsday or just Power Patron, these are going to be things that you will see the most this format. And they are very, very playable and very, very good. The next one here is going to be in Tier 2, which I did misread this one, which was RDA. I do still think that the card quality is very, very good, but the testing has proven that other things are better. And honestly, the Centurion pick, which I feel like I'm going to get a couple comments on, that deck is really good. It's like really good. There's a reason why Emblem Oaths are like 25-30 right now. That deck is really, really strong at the moment, especially if you're comfortable playing it. That is a deck that I would recommend. The next one up is going to be Pure Striker. This deck has a incredible matchup into most of the meta right now, and you have so many options in the deck to deal with so many scenarios. This is a deck that I cannot recommend enough. Not trying to be biased, but this is a deck that has a really good time right now into the format. But this deck isn't easy. This is something that you're gonna have to spend a lot of time learning, and when you do, it's very rewarding. But this is going to be a deck that I wholeheartedly believe will be really impactful. Now for Magnet, this is gonna be like top of Tier 2. I feel like it could be in 1.5 because it's had its fair share of like regional tops, but comparatively to other things right now, I feel like this is going to be a Tier 2 deck. The Clown Crew cards are rogue. They're pretty interesting at what they can do, but they don't do like enough. So it's not really something that I am really confident behind right now to say that they're worth playing at the moment. The Cool Tune deck, obviously, it's going to be up here. I honestly think that the Doomsday deck is better than the Cool Tune deck. And Cool Tune is just Sprite and Pote format, and Doomsday is Tier Limit. And soon we'll see this just flop. Whereas this is going to be the best deck is Doomsday, and the second best deck is Cool Tune. We've seen this happen time and time again, and I feel like we're going to see it happen again. Draco Tail used to get less numbers than Yummy, and then it flopped. So I feel like this is going to be another scenario of just the same. But the card quality on these are kind of wild. I did play against it already at like a actual tournament to go ahead and win some prizing, and I did beat the deck, but when this deck went first and you can't even like super poly their end board, it is very frustrating. Another rogue deck right now is gonna be Odeon Primite. This deck is very interesting right now because they're playing Metamorphosis now, where they can go ahead and make Last Warrior, and since they have Load just says you can't activate the effects of special monsters from the extra deck this turn, so therefore the Last Warrior can activate, so you can build a whole board and then stick a Last Warrior and your board is safe, and then your opponent can't summon. So definitely a very brutal way to go about it, especially if you have like a Drill Beam protecting the Last Warrior, you probably can't play the game. So definitely a very incredible going first deck right now. And then White Forest is going to be somewhere in 1.5 just because it can play all the new cards and it's still very strong. But definitely let me know what you think about this down below in the comment section. I'll catch you all on the next one. Thank you.